Welcome to the Big Pop Podcast. I'm your host, Sully, aka Kayfabe Crimes, and I'm joined by,
Navthepoet.
and we are talking about our WrestleMania predictions. WrestleMania is this weekend. 13 matches confirmed so far. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about the first match. Let's talk about the night one main event. Triple threat match, Randy Orton,
Huh?
Seth Rollins, and CM Punk. Who have you got winning this match?
Roman Reigns. I know you had
Oh,
Randy on the
okay.
mind.
Okay.
No, no, you
Oh
said
yeah.
Randy Orton.
Randy, Roman, same guy.
Yeah. Um, yeah, this is an interesting one. Especially with what took place this past week.
Hmm.
Seth standing tall above the other two. Usually
Yeah.
that's a sign that the person is not winning. It's a common
Yes.
trope.
Yeah.
So I'm stuck. But I'm just gonna because also the whole Paul Heyman thing, and like we were predicting maybe Seth Rollins or Heyman
Hmm.
joins Rollins, but watching that last week's segment again where Rollins like threatened him and everything, I was just like, but it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
The WWE is known to do things that don't make sense. But I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with my guy, CM Punk. I'm gonna say CM Punk.
Okay. 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 Yeah, I guess it makes sense. Kind of the story seems to be this is CM Punk's main event. This is, you know, I don't know how old he is. Must be pushing 50, right?
I think yeah, he's like 46, I want to say.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, is this his only chance to main event? Will he win it?
46.
So, yeah. No, that makes sense. Like, I think I'm in the same boat as you, where I was like, I thought it was going to be Seth, and then watching Raw on Monday, I was like, maybe it's not gonna be Seth. He had the go home math, like him standing tall. But God, I'm gonna stick with Seth.
Okay.
I think Roman doesn't need to win.
No.
Like, to him, it doesn't matter whatever happens.
Right.
I just feel like Seth depriving Punk of that win is just like, just a stab in the gut. And then maybe next year, Punk can beat Seth and finally get his thing for a
Gosh.
title or something.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I'm gonna make an even bolder prediction. I
Okay.
think Roman and Seth are gonna be doing whatever, and maybe
Yeah.
like Seth hits Roman with a stomp,
Hmm.
and then Punk hits Seth with a chair in the back,
And then
and
pins,
then maybe
then
hits a
gets Roman up.
GTS or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, and pins. I think that would be
Roman.
really fun poetry.
True. I do think if Roman's eating the pin, they're gonna like have him take at least like six finishes
Oh
or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
It'll be like stomp, GTS, a flying stomp into another GTS.
dude, it's gonna be so many finishers.
Yeah. I mean, like because it's a triple threat, they'll use weapons as well.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Yeah, they'll at least use a chair. Um, I don't know. I don't know if they'll get the tables out because actually it's on night one. There's not any hardcore matches on night one, so
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see some weapons being used, but it's gonna be a lot of finishers for sure.
yeah. I think it's going to be an overbooked mess. There's going to be a ref bump
Oh yeah.
in there somewhere. I think Paul's going to get involved in at least one of the pins,
Yeah.
and I think that will probably be the deciding pinfall.
Yeah.
Whoever helps in this match.
Yeah. I see Paul getting accidentally speared too.
Oh, yeah, actually, that makes sense. Like
Like
maybe Seth pulls him in the way or something.
yeah, or even just the classic like maybe he got pushed into the corner, he's getting back
Hmm.
up. Roman goes for a spear on Seth, Seth
Yeah.
jumps, And then Paul gets hit, which incites Punk, so Punk beats up Roman. Then it's
Uh,
Seth and Punk. Um, yeah, it's a there's a lot of opportunity to do some fun storytelling within this
mhm,
match, though.
true.
A GTS into a spear on Rollins, like
Oh, yeah,
he
that's
hits the
sick.
GTS, then Seth is like wobbly and then just gets
Yeah, spear
flattened with a
fight.
spear.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
I just it's like Roman's just gonna disappear for a few months after
yeah,
this match anyway. Like if there's a Saudi show, he might be there, and if not, build to SummerSlam, I
yeah.
think.
So
But
I know we made our predictions, but I
mhm.
want to say because we have decided to have a little wager,
Oh no,
right?
oh no.
So what we're doing is we're gonna make our predictions, and whoever has the most predictions correct wins. And the loser, do you want to tell them what the loser has to do?
The loser has to make a video over on our TikTok, but it will also be here on YouTube as a short. So, remember to hit that like and subscribe button. The loser has to make a video praising their least favorite superstar. For me, that's going to be The Miz, Mike Mizanin. Oh, God, I can't lose. I can't
Yeah.
lose. I can't do that.
For me, it's gonna have to be John Cena. Oh my gosh. There are other people I dislike, and I would have put I want to put them in the running, but I feel like the amount of uh
Vitriol.
vitriol I've sent towards Cena in my videos, I feel like I have to choose John Cena. So
I'm going to
yeah.
tag him in that video.
So here was an added little thing I thought of just now is if
Oh
we
no.
guess like the ending of the match,
Hmm.
that's like an extra point, right?
Okay.
So especially
Okay.
like with the triple threat, it's like if you guess like Roman
Who
eats the
gets the
pin,
pinfall?
yeah,
Mm. Yeah, no, I like that. I like that. Prop bets.
yeah.
It'll help
So
separate us as well.
right, so I'm gonna say Punk pins Rollins.
I'm gonna say Seth pins Roman.
Hmm. Roman eating two losses in a like in a 2 years in a row is it just sounds wild, but
Yeah, true. But
it's possible in a triple threat, especially. I can see it.
uh, I feel like it's just a bit poetic because Seth is the reason Roman lost last year, and this year he'll be pinning Roman.
Right. And do you think Heyman turns or not?
If Seth wins, yes.
Hmm. Yeah.
I think I don't know if he necessarily turns to join Seth, but he'll leave Roman.
Hmm. Yeah. I think he just ends up celebrating with Punk. That's my. It sounds like it shouldn't be a bold prediction, but like
Yeah,
because of WWE's nature to do out of the box things, it's just like the reasonable thing seems so out of
yeah,
the box. But yeah, I think like they just genuinely get to celebrate together for their win.
yeah. Okay, yeah. Paul Heyman gets on the second rope.
All right. Shall we move on to the next match?
Yeah, let's move on to the men's tag title match.
Oh, okay.
Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, the New Day, if you will, against reigning champions, the War Raiders, or Viking Raiders, sorry,
No, I think they're the
in
War
WWE.
Raiders now.
Uh,
Yeah, I think
against those guys who were once Vikings.
some type of Raiders.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
this is. I mean, it should be a good match. It's
yeah.
two really good teams. The match has little to no heat though, so I couldn't
Yeah.
care less about it.
Uh,
My pick.
yeah.
I'm gonna go with the New Day. It feels
Yeah,
pretty.
I agree. I think this is one where it's just telegraphed. Kind of the New Day should have won these titles months ago.
Yeah,
I just don't know why they didn't.
yeah,
It just and like their heat's gone. Like
right.
I don't know because I don't really watch Raw as regularly as yourself, but it's just like there's no
It's
heat.
there's no heat. I imagine if they had won the titles within that first month after turning on Big E,
Mm,
and then they just spent the rest of the time parading around being the champions.
exactly.
then you could have actually capitalized on that heat, and you also make the tag titles and the tag team division matter somewhat. And so, like, if
Yeah.
this was inverse, where it was like the War
Hmm.
Raiders chasing the New Day into Mania to get these titles after they've like won over and over again underhandedly, again off of that heat from the Big E, thing and everything,
Yeah.
I think it would have been so much better.
Yeah, and to be honest, it would have been kind of up in the air because I'm like, I mean, it makes the New Day are the New Day, but also a big baby face pop. So and I think this might be opening night one as well. So
Mm,
start off with a bang. So, but yeah, I
yeah,
think yeah, I just think we're in agreement for this match. It's not
yeah,
really a big one.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh well.
let's jump on over to night two then,
Okay.
with AJ Styles
Wow.
versus I can't go to Japan, Logan Paul.
This one's actually
Uh,
tough,
yeah.
at least for me. I don't know about you.
I think Raw lent me in one direction.
Hmm.
I think because Logan stood tall on Raw, I think they're going to give it to AJ. And I
Yeah.
also think it's so AJ can be a contender for world titles.
Hmm.
Because, I can't remember the last WrestleMania match he won. Maybe I know he beat Shinsuke. He
Yeah.
lost to the Undertaker.
Yeah. He
He
beat Shane,
he beat
but
Shane. He beat
yeah.
Shane.
I don't remember if he beat
Um,
LA Knight last year.
I'm pretty sure he lost to LA Knight.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Um, I do think I agree. I do think AJ is winning. That's my prediction.
Hmm.
Um, I think this is just a way to get like good momentum for AJ. I didn't even think about the world
Yeah.
title situation,
Yeah.
but it makes sense because I was just like, okay, uh, even though I don't agree with like I don't think he gets the right type of heat, but he gets heat, and the
Hmm.
WWE uses that
Hmm.
for Paul. So I think it's just a way to
Yeah.
give AJ an opponent that like, and give Paul an opponent who can really make him
Yeah.
look good. It's much like
Exactly.
the Seth match, pretty much.
Hmm. Yeah.
And so,
But I will throw in a caveat that I do think they're gonna keep the cross AJ thing going.
mm,
So there is the possibility, like, to get Karrion Cross also on the card,
mm,
to maybe have him cost AJ the match.
yeah,
That that's kind of in the back of my mind. Also, I know his contract's up, so maybe it's like, hey, Karrion, you want to stay? Here's a WrestleMania moment.
yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think about it that way, just because like Mania isn't known, I feel, to do those kinds of moments. Not saying
Yeah,
they can't.
true.
Um, if anything, I would guess it would happen after the match.
Yeah,
But your theory is definitely a possibility. I could see it, especially after this past
Raw.
Monday. Yeah, like I don't know if you
Yeah.
saw what happened, but I thought it was a really cool little thing of
Hmm.
AJ went for the phenomenal forearm and Karrion just held his hands behind his back,
Yeah,
like just
exactly.
taking it, eating it. And I was like, I don't know what that's implying or what that entails, but I like it. I like Karrion a
Yeah.
lot, actually. I've become a big
He's
fan.
yeah, I think, growing out his hair, getting a little bit of dropping AOP
Yeah.
has given him that space to kind of grow as a wrestler. I mean, we're talking more about Karrion Cross than that guy, just because, I mean, that guy can wrestle, but he's
Yeah.
just, even his promo on Raw was like, okay, he gets them YouTube views, I guess.
Yeah, I
Gets
watched his
them
promo on Raw
TikTok
and I was
views.
like, he's really not that good as a promo. Like he just says standard stuff.
Yeah.
People like to say like, oh, he's like
Yeah.
really good on the mic. I'm like,
Honest,
not really.
yeah. He's not. He's just himself, which is just like an arrogant prick.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So
to be honest, I think it's someone in the marketing team went to Nick Khan and was like, look, we generated $200 off this TikTok because of Logan Paul. And Nick Khan was like, excellent. Make sure he's on every pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So I just that's the only reason I think he's still there.
Yeah. Not much else to say. I
But yeah,
think AJ takes it with a
yeah,
forearm.
yeah, I agree. Let's stay with night two and go for a match that I'm actually quite excited for. Let's go for the IC title match,
Mmm.
which is Braun Breaker versus Penta versus Finn Balor and the greatest Mysterio ever, Dominic Mysterio.
Oh gosh. Okay, first of all, I don't get how more people aren't tired of Bland Breaker just coming in and doing spears. That's all he does. I don't
They're
know,
they're good spears though.
but they're still just spears. There's I think 3 to 4 other people on the roster who also do a spear. Like it's all he
Yeah.
does. Literally, even like when he is fighting multiple people, like he'll spear one person, then he waits for the next person to get up and he spears it. I'm just like, do a different move. Do
I
anything
mean,
different.
he did a he did a double spear on Raw.
It's just so boring to me. I don't get why people are so enamored with his spear. I don't
I
know. I just
guess
had to rant about that because
I think
I don't understand it.
yeah, I think again it's WWE are like, oh my God, that's so clippable, and so they were
Yeah.
like, spear everyone.
Yeah,
I
that
think it
is
was
what it is.
I think it was the speed spear.
Yeah.
Like that spear on speed got a lot of views, and they're like, Braun, your gimmick is guy who spears and barks.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, for the match, oh man, this is a tough
Hmm.
one.
It is.
Oh, I have two potential picks. I'm just trying to decide. I have to decide between one. I can't say,
Hmm.
either or. So, oh, it's a tough one. Do you have someone?
I do, and I think it's not a controversial take, but I think it's a take that it's more I'm following my heart with this one
Okay.
because I don't know if he's gonna win, but I really want Dom to win this match.
Hmm.
They I just I'm going with my heart. Maybe, Paul will hear this and understand that listen, Dominic Mysterio is the best part of the Judgment Day and
Yeah.
has been for a very long time. He still gets incredible heat, even though like he's cooled off a lot since the Rhea Liv thing ended.
Right.
He just still gets booed out the building whenever he picks up a mic.
Yeah.
But that means if you turn him face, eventually at some point, it's going to be huge. It's the same as Rhea.
Right.
Everyone hated Rhea so much, they loved her. And you just got to do that with Dom. And I think I mean, I'll hear your perspective, but there's a story you can tell going out of it if Dom wins.
Yeah. That's definitely one of my two. You know what? I'm gonna do the same thing you did. I'm gonna go with my heart,
Mhm.
but I'll also talk about Dom. My pick is Penta.
Okay. That makes, yeah. Yeah.
My pick is Penta. I love Penta. I want him to win the championship.
Yeah.
But I see complete sense with Dom. I think that, like if if there was ever an opportunity to give Dom a championship, it's
Yeah.
this match because it's a fatal four way, right?
Exactly.
So he gets a sneaky win, a cheap win, whatever, a roll up on someone
Hmm.
one after, or like Breaker hits a spear on Finn, Dom kicks him out with a drop kick, pins Finn. And I'm assuming that's
Exactly.
also what you're
Yeah.
like you know speculating about what they do
Yeah.
post Mania. So it's him versus
Exactly.
Finn. The Judgment Day completely dissolves,
Yeah.
basically. Which would be cool. It would be really interesting.
Yeah.
So I definitely see that. But I'm just going against my better judgment that I think it's Penta. I think your answer is the right answer.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I have one which I think is the right answer.
Okay.
I think the right answer is the most boring answer, and it's Bond Breaker.
I know, you're right.
I think they're putting Penta in the match because like go get Penta on WrestleMania,
Right.
but we don't know if we want to give him the IC title yet. Maybe we're just gonna stick him with his brother again. Uh,
Yeah.
but having the multi-man match means Penta, if he doesn't win, isn't going to be involved in the pin. Someone will take him out. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Honestly, I think no matter who wins, Finn is taking the pin.
yeah,
It
yeah.
could be
I think
Braun, it could be Penta, it could be Dominic. I think Finn is taking that pin.
yeah, which is so sad.
He is
It's so depressing.
the least valued player in this match, at least in terms of like who they want to push.
Yeah, which is such
So
a shame.
yeah,
I just makes me so sad.
poor old
But
Finnegan.
yeah, so you're going with Penta,
I'm going
and
with Penta.
I'm going with Dom, and I think the universe is going with Braun Breaker.
Probably. But if it's not Braun, I think it's Dom. But
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to manifest Penta.
I think if it's not Braun, it's Penta.
Hmm. Well, there we
Yeah,
go.
there we go. There we go.
One way, one of us are going to be right. It's
Exactly. Okay, let's go. Let's bring in a women's match.
all
Let's
right.
go with the WWE Women's Championship. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. Possibly the first shoot match we get out of WrestleMania.
Oh my gosh, this is a tough one. Even when we talked about it in
Mm,
the previous episode, I'm stuck because it's Charlotte, and we know how
hmm.
they like Charlotte,
Yeah.
but they're also really high on Tiffany.
Yeah.
So it could go either way. This is one that I think I'm actually
Okay.
really conflicted on, and I am gonna go with Tiffany.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think that makes sense because Tiffany is young, up and coming, I'm sure she sells a lot of merch. Um, yeah, it makes sense, I just feel like also the story's been it's been Tiffany's story,
Right.
which is why I think Charlotte's gonna win. Because I think Charlotte is their break glass option, and I think Triple H loves her. I think
Yeah.
Ric Flair
Yeah,
is
it's basically
there.
his daughter or
Yeah,
granddaughter, I
exactly.
guess,
Yeah.
depending on because Ric Flair's his father essentially.
Yeah, exactly. So Ric Flair is there, slapping his arms,
Oh
going
my God.
woo, telling Triple H let his daughter win.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think I don't know. I Tiffany makes sense,
yeah.
which is why I think it's going to be Charlotte.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's tough because Charlotte makes sense because it's Charlotte, right? Like
Yeah,
that's the
exactly.
only logic to why she makes sense. But like
Yeah.
you said, it is Tiffany's story, and
No.
I guess placing my hope that WWE does the right thing. I mean, I care very little for either of these wrestlers,
Yeah.
so I'm not like conflicted in the way of like I couldn't care less who wins. But
Yeah.
if you're gonna, you should give this to Tiffany, and
Yeah.
like the last Mania Charlotte was at, she did do the job for Rhea,
True.
so maybe
True.
they'll continue that pattern.
Didn't they? Tiffany dropped a line, didn't she, saying she's 3-0
Yeah.
at WrestleMania, which is wrong because
Oh
Charlotte
yeah.
beat Rhea
Yeah.
and she beat Asuka.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, what did you mean by that?
Yeah, it was a weird attempt to circle it back to her divorces. It
Oh,
was,
yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. Oh
Plus,
yeah,
Charlotte's
maybe.
more than 3-0 at Mania,
Yeah, it's like,
but she's also lost at Mania.
yeah. That was a blur. That's
Charlotte's
kind
been
of
wrestling at Mania since WrestleMania 32. There's no way she's three and
wow.
yeah, it was the triple threat with her, Becky, and Sasha, which she
I
won, right?
I tangentially, I forget how long some of these people have been wrestling.
Yeah.
So, like that's nearly a decade of just main roster,
Mm.
let alone
Yeah.
a couple of years in NXT as well.
Yeah. Then she won 34 against Asuka. She lost against Becky and Ronda at 35.
Hmm.
Beat Rhea at 36. Um, I don't know what she did at 30. Oh, lost to Ronda or beat? I don't remember if she won or lost to Ronda at 37. Or that
She
was
had a match
38
with Ronda.
actually. I don't know what she did at
She had a
36.
match with Ronda.
At WrestleMania 38, yeah. Um,
Clearly, I've
so
wiped
oh
that
yeah,
from.
2022 WWE is I have no recollection of it. That was the year Ronda and Brock won their respective Rumbles.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my God, that was sickening.
And I
Ugh.
think Charlotte lost to Ronda. I don't
She
know.
must have. I think. Yeah, yeah, because Liv cashed in on Ronda later that year, didn't she?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Or the following year or something. Oh God.
Yeah, so the line doesn't make any sense is my point.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
she lost several
It's just,
times, but
it's just,
whatever.
yeah. But yeah, okay. So you're going with Tiffany, and I'm going with Charlotte.
Yep.
Okay, that's a good one to deviate on. I think let's go for a match that is out there. Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano, my favorite order from a coffee shop.
Yeah, this is an interesting one because I don't know what the story is.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. I mean, I think we both have uh, feelings about the El Grande Americano character.
Yeah,
And
I mean it's stupid to me, but
yeah, I love my Lucha Libre and it feels disrespectful.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know why you couldn't just do Chad versus Ray as like the match. Like this whole gimmick thing is silly to me.
Yeah, I feel like I think it also is going to depend on the placement on the card
Mm,
because I think if this goes on after a heel winning, then I see Ray picking up the win to kind of like bring the crowd. They're in Vegas, so I actually don't know how far Vegas is from California. So
not too
pretty far,
far.
probably. No, okay.
Not crazy distance, yeah.
So I mean, it's Ray as well, and Ray's just lost all of his Mania matches recently, other
Yeah.
than the Dom ones, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think he's had.
I
Yeah.
I th- uh I think it's I'm gonna go with Ray.
Okay.
I feel like this is where the story ends for El Grande Americano. I
Yeah.
feel like they reveal Chad under the mask, you know, and Ray will actually use the loaded mask to, sneakily
Hmm.
win because like they've never made Ray above doing stuff like that,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna agree with you there because I think going into this, I did think Chad might win the match
Mm,
just to give him that, that thing. But I think since we actually started talking, when we started, just before we started recording, I was looking at it and I was like, actually, I think Ray's gonna pick this up. I
mm.
think, I don't know if Chad Gable's had a single match at WrestleMania. I doubt it. He might have had a tag match. He probably had one or two tag matches
Yeah, I
at
don't think he's
Mania.
had a singles match at
Yeah.
Mania.
So it being his singles match anyway is the big thing for him.
Right,
So yeah, I think, and I agree. It just feels like how much more you're going to get out of this gimmick,
right.
really. Because I thought the whole point of him doing this thing was, it, I thought the story was going to be a lot more compelling. I thought it was going to be he go, they did all those really well shot vignettes of
Yeah,
him going to assumedly Mexico
right,
and learning the ways of lucha libre so that he could come back and defeat all the luchadors, or maybe just bring a luchador friend with him to help, like a rudo as they call them in Mexico,
right,
to defeat the luchadors. And instead they were like, yeah, here's like an ugly mask which looks like it's been modeled off Cody's neck tattoo. um and but it's just, it just kind of fell flat.
yeah. I mean, they didn't have anything for it, honestly. They were just like,
Yeah.
we're just gonna. This is the problem. We've discussed this before. The WWE just like sets up things, but they don't have a plan for any of it.
Yeah.
Like maybe their plan was this match at Mania, but
Mhm.
like that's weak. If that was like your big
Yeah,
build up,
exactly.
it's just like he should have been taking out luchadors, not just like beating them in
Yes.
matches, but straight up like even yeah, he has a loaded mask and he's like doing it, I don't know, just like knocking them out, knocking them
Yeah.
unconscious. And it's like, okay,
And
well now you can't wrestle because, we have
exactly.
to.
And like you have enhancement talent. Like you just they were in LA as well recently. There's plenty of luchadors in the smaller promotions in LA
Right,
because I tangentially know the LA scene. There's
right.
loads of luchadors they could have brought in and have him squash them
Yeah.
if they really wanted to, and then take out. I don't even know who's in the LWO anymore, man. Just
I mean, they're not using Dragon Lee, so you might as well take him out then.
no.
I know it's sad to say, but they're not
Poor
using
Dragon
him. He's
Lee.
just
Poor
there to
Dragon
like
Lee.
he's I mean that's what he's been there to do anyway. He's been taking
Yeah.
L's to
He
El Grande. So it's like, okay, then you might as well just write him
he
off TV. Have him
he's
break
bas
his ankle with the ankle lock.
he's basically there to take Ray's losses.
Yeah. But it's also like, okay, the whole thing is like lucha libre. A lot of lucha
Yeah.
libre involves like high flying and acrobatics, which
Hmm.
you need your legs for. So have
Exactly.
him break their ankles with the ankle lock.
That's so much better of a story. And then even in match, you could have him like destroy Ray's legs and like it's the final desperation Ray is able to get a 619 and Frog Splash
Yeah,
off.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Ray's had a history of knee issues. Introduce a
Yeah.
knee submission, or just even still if it's a leg submission, regardless. Like,
Yeah.
that puts strain on the knee and
Yeah.
whatever commentary wants to say. But like, it just what is the point if he's not actually doing anything different? Like you went and got this secret thing, whether it was another luchador or the powers of the mask. Like what it
Yeah.
should have been? It should have been the mask. It should like the
It
movie, the
like
Jim Carrey
changes his
film. Yeah, he like
personality or
he like
something.
puts it on and then he just like he doesn't even remember he's Chad Gable. He's just a
Yeah.
totally different character. But like we all know he knows but like it's just he becomes this character
No.
and like he becomes way more violent because like
Mm.
Chad's never been like violent per se.
No.
So yeah,
I I'll be honest. I just uh, this is actually something we can talk about in the future. I just don't think WWE respects Lucha Libre.
yeah,
I think literally they were like, "Oh wow, Rey Mysterio is kind of over with the Latin American population." Yeah, yeah, Rey Mysterio, and
oh,
that's it.
that's a
Like, I
hundred
mean,
percent all they care about is the fact
yeah,
that like Ray got so over and Ray and Eddie brought in the Latino
yeah,
audience for them. They have no care for Lucha
yeah,
Libre, for their wrestlers. Like my biggest fear when I heard Penta was coming to WWE, I was like, how long is that gonna last? That he's like getting a
yeah,
push. And
yeah,
like, I mean, I'm fine with what they're doing right now. I don't have an issue. I'm not asking them
yeah.
to push him to the main event right now, so
No,
I'm
no, no.
fine with how they're treating him. But I'm just like, I have a fear that by the end of the year, he'll just be another luchador, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
When are they gonna put them in the Lucha Brothers together and have them feud with like Pretty Deadly?
and just be another tag team that does nothing in your non-existent tag division that never fights or has a story until they randomly will decide to break them up and they'll try
Yeah.
to make it this big deal of like, oh, these brothers, they're against you. It's like, bro, you didn't do
I
anything while they were together, but now I'm supposed to care that they're against each other.
I'm really concerned about A Kid. Oh, sorry, Axiom,
Yeah.
where because he is spectacular
Yeah.
and he's such a like as a kid he's really good as well.
Mm.
But I think they'll break him and Nathan Frazier up and be like, and here's a random luchador guy who will get buried by a lower mid card
Yeah.
heel.
Yeah.
He's gonna fill the Kalisto spot,
Yeah. I
which is
mean,
really sad.
the fact that they have been teasing those two breaking up for like a year or something now, I'm just like, either just break them up or just stop with this story. Like, what are you even doing with this?
I will admit it's like the most British thing though. It's like the most Brit wrestle thing of just two wrestlers who like clearly don't like each other, but they're really good at wrestling together.
That's fair. That's fine then. I'm okay with that. But like it always seems like they're trying to
Yeah,
break them up because
yeah.
like it'd be fine if it was just outside the ring, they're just arguing and
Mhm.
bickering a lot, but they keep hitting each other in their matches
Yeah,
accidentally.
exactly.
And usually that teases leading to
A breakup.
dissension and to a breakup, but they're not doing
Yeah.
that. So I'm like, just
Yeah.
stop having them hit each other in matches
Yeah.
accidentally.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
But yeah. Did we say who we thought? Oh yeah, yeah. We both think it's gonna be Ray.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Ray. I think he pulls off the mask finally, and then
Yeah.
Chad's like, "Oh my God!" And Michael Cole's like, I told you this whole
Yeah.
time." I was like, "All right, Michael."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Talking about teams breaking up, let's go with the women's tag title match, which is Liv
Uh,
Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Bailey and Lyra Valkyria. I see from your face you
what a-
have thoughts.
so first of all, I'm fine with the team, right? I think it's
Okay.
cool to put together a team that's like this veteran wrestler and like kind
Mhm.
of like being the mentor mentee situation.
Mhm.
But why did you have to team her up with the Intercontinental Champion of all people?
Yeah. Yeah. This match feels like it's literally there to facilitate Bailey and Lyra having a series of matches on B-level pay-per-views.
Yeah, I'm actually predicting maybe not at Mania,
Hmm.
but I'm predicting it leads to a Bailey turn.
I agree. I very much agree. I
Yeah.
think this run of face Bailey has been not booked well.
No, not at all.
I think she had the fantastic match with EO last year. Made sense for her to be a face going into that match.
Yeah.
But since then, it's kind of been like, well, it's Bailey. She can't win.
Yeah. I mean, which has been her story the whole time
Hmm.
until she
Yeah.
won like the championship last year. That's
Yeah.
been her story of like it's Bailey, she's great, but she's not the main attraction, you know?
Yeah.
And it's a frustrating story. And now I think they're gonna slot her into that veteran status and,
Mm.
help newer talent, which is fine, but
Yeah.
she's never gotten a proper run, I feel, as champion or on top. Because like when she was on top, the main time was during the pandemic
Yeah. I was
era.
gonna
So
say.
like it was great. She did great work, but like it's not the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
And then this recent run has been just unpleasant to watch.
Yeah. And don't get me started on like the Roxanne story, which never finished. And they got, oh man,
You had a match right there. Honestly, I would have had Bailey I would have had Bailey beat Lyra for the IC title
hmm.
and then have Roxanne beat Bailey and Mania for the IC title.
Yeah, exactly. And what a way to hot shot Roxanne.
That hot potato the title, I don't care. Just like
Yeah.
yeah, Roxanne deserves it. Roxanne has a better character than Lyra. She is, I think, maybe they're equal on in-ring ability. I don't know. It's always hard to say who's better in-ring unless it's so drastically different.
Yeah.
But like character and personality and just, I think, as a performer and ability to like captivate the audience far ahead
Yeah.
of Lyra.
Mhm.
So I just don't see why they didn't do the story that they set up. Like the roots were there, the seeds were there.
I have a feeling they forgot they were booking this match and they were like, oh my God, we need to do something. And then they were also like, oh no, we don't have either of the women's mid-card titles on the show. But they're like, we already have 13 to 14 matches. Let's just put Lyra into on the show so we can show off the belt and be like, hey, look, we have a women's mid-card title.
Right.
And like, who's around Lyra? Bailey? Okay, cool. Bailey needs to be on Mania too.
Yeah.
I
I think
I
they're
I genuinely yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
I just felt like they were like, oh yeah, wait, we're meant to have two women's matches on night two. Shoot. Okay.
Oh, my thought is they realized they hadn't put Liv on the show because they do
Yeah,
value
that
Liv a
too.
lot. So they were like,
Yeah.
oh. Where's Liv go? So, and then they're
Yeah.
like, oh, like more, it's like a combination of both. Because it's
Yeah.
also like, okay, Lyra, we do want to feature her, but we don't
Hmm.
want her to defend her title for some reason. I mean, you could have just done Bailey versus Lyra for the IC title, even if like, if fine, like I would have preferred Roxanne Bailey, but like fine, like just feature Lyra. She's the champion, so put her against Bailey. But they just had her in a random Raw match, um, and you could have done Liv and Raquel versus. Well, they have no tag teams actually, so it doesn't matter.
That would have, I'll be honest, you could have had two perfect pre-show matches.
Yeah,
A Liv Raquel versus some sort of tag team, and then the other one, Bailey Lyra.
or even Liv versus Lyra for the IC title.
Yeah,
Like that was also a
true.
possibility.
You got so many belts now.
There's
It's
too
like
many.
they gotta pick and choose the belts. I mean, they've got all but one of the men's belts defended on SmackDown, unless you're getting WrestleMania SmackDown.
Yeah. I
Um,
think for the women, they should have one women's mid-card title, just like they
yes,
have one women's tag title.
I think yeah, because they don't give the women enough time for them to justify two. If they were giving the women more time, that's fine.
Sure.
But very clearly, they don't value the women's wrestling as much,
No. And
which
they
is a
don't value
shame.
tag team wrestling as much. So the women's tag
Exactly.
titles are like,
Just, just have one tag title for either gender and have one women's mid card title
yeah.
because they book the men's mid card titles fine nowadays. So
Yeah, they're doing something with it at least.
yeah.
But yeah, who are your picks? Who's your pick?
Oh yeah, I Liv and Raquel. I think
Yeah.
because we both agreed, I think this just or at least in my opinion, I think this just is to facilitate a Lyra Bailey feud and possibly Bailey turning heel.
Yeah. I could make a argument for Bailey and Lyra, but I don't
Hmm.
think it's strong enough. And just because of how poorly it was put together, it would be a
Hmm.
waste to have them win.
Uh, and once again, Liv gets clicks on
Yeah.
on. I don't know if you're on Twitter, but the Liv stands, they're crazy. Yeah.
Hmm. No,
The
I'm not
Alexa Bliss stands just
active on
became Liv
Twitter.
stands.
Gotcha.
And
And I think it makes sense to give Liv the win at Mania because like she has put in a lot of work.
yeah.
And so like she's earned at least this, just at least a
Yeah.
win at Mania. So,
And also, I just thought, where's Alexa?
dude, where are so many people? There's so many people on their roster they're just not
I
using.
I genuinely forgot about her until I made that joke about the Alexa Bliss fans. Like, that's crazy.
They I guess they're waiting to bring her with the Wyatt Six. Um, yeah, I don't know why you can't just have her around doing things. Or hell,
Oh
why
God.
can't Nikki Cross and her reform a team in the meantime? Even if like, because I think I heard Bo is injured. Um,
Oh, I see.
so, but I'm like, okay, so then just have Nikki and Alexa do their weird, creepy stuff together as a tag team,
Mm,
and then you have
yeah,
another tag team for the women's division.
exactly.
What a complicated concept. Jeez.
Ugh. I mean, as we were talking about mid-card titles, I think it's time to bring in LA Knight and the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna waste time with this one. Is Jacob Fatu?
Yeah, I think Jacob Fatu is going to win this match. I
The
thought.
only, sorry, you go
Mhm.
first.
No, no, I think we're going to say the same point.
Okay, the
You
only
go.
thought I had was Solo costs Jacob the. Okay, so
Yeah,
yeah, that's the only thought I had was like, oh, Solo could, but I still think it makes no sense. So I'm just Jacob's the logical winner for this one.
yeah, I agree. I think Jacob is. I don't think he's going to like destroy LA Knight, even though he really should.
Yeah,
Like this should be like a 3 minute match. LA Knight, hits a blunt force trauma. That's
yeah.
the name of his finisher. Yeah,
Hmm.
he hits that.
How do you not
Jacob
know? Michael says it every single time he does it.
Uh, because I listen to Steven Larson and they call it the billionaire finger trap. and that's just like ingrained in my head.
What?
I don't know. I think they don't know the name either. So
Fair enough. Yeah.
so that's what I think about when I think about his finisher. I think he should hit that like very early on, and Jacob kicks out at like one, maybe two. We'll give LA Knight two, and then just Jacob just destroys him for the rest of the match.
Dude, I don't even think he should kick out. I think it should be he hits it and Jacob does his
Yeah,
rise
he just
up
gets up.
and he just then super kicks him, Samoan drops him, does his moonsault. I think it should
Yeah,
be a 30-second squash.
yeah.
100% actually.
I think so too. But again, it's LA Knight. He's very over.
No.
I think you can't really
Yeah.
justify that or too much.
Yeah. You want to
I
stick
th
with title matches?
Yeah, let's go for another title match.
We got
So, ooh,
well,
I think we're gonna go for the women's triple threat
oh, okay.
because I think we've not done a multi-person match in a little while, and there's a lot of multi-person matches on this card.
True.
So,
Yeah, this one's a tough one. There's an argument to be made for Io and Bianca. I think Rhea is a
mhm.
definite no, though I'll never
Okay,
underestimate WWE for giving it to like to give it to her. But
yeah,
I just think because she's had it recently, it makes sense to either give it to Bianca or have Io
hmm
retain.
hmm
And I'm gonna go with my heart again on this one. I'm gonna say
Okay,
Io because I want
okay,
Io to
okay,
wto So I'm gonna
yeah.
manifest it, as they say.
I agree that EO. To be honest, I think EO makes the most sense as well.
Yeah.
I think she's recently won the title. She got that viral clip recently of her doing the springboard drop kick.
Mm.
She is very
I
over.
thought
I
you
think.
meant something else.
Okay. Oh no.
No, no, because I'm sure you've seen it. There's people reacting to when she made her entrance, but because she was
Hmm.
wearing like really short shorts, and
Oh.
so, like yeah, so there was a lot of creators that like they do their
Oh
reactors
God.
reacting. That's why I don't know why that's what I was just like
Uh,
that went viral because like
oh really? Oh bloody hell.
yeah,
Um.
because she doesn't,
No.
first of all, she doesn't wear that kind of clothing in general usually. So it's
Yeah.
like people are just like thrown off. Like they're just like
Yeah.
the clips are people like just talking as Io's doing her entrance, and it's like the wide shot, and then it cuts, and it's like this. It's like the regular shot. It's not like close up,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah.
she's turned around and she's wearing really short shorts, and
Oh, I
they
see.
just like stop in their tracks. All these reactors. It's just
Were they like jean shorts? I don't know
um,
if you paid attention.
I didn't pay. No, I don't know. It
The
wasn't.
the reason is I think again this is a tangent, but she she was wearing jeans. She was wearing Wrangler jeans, I think,
Mhm.
in one of her segments, and she did like a frog splash or something, and like I think it was Wrangler. They did a whole thing with like the genes that EO won to do this did War to do this move, and like
No.
she was on like the Netflix, maybe it was a Netflix and Wrangler thing together. Maybe they're
Okay.
doing a promotion, but it was like there's a really nice edit, to be honest,
Mm.
on Instagram. So whoever the social media person at Wrangler, they did a very good job. I think she was wearing Wrangler. I apologize to Levi's if it was you instead. Um, but yeah, that's the only reason I was asking because I was like, is she now like doing a sponsorship deal with a jeans company?
No, no, she's not. They would have definitely
Oh,
wearing jeans.
no,
Yeah,
get
you
get
haven't
that
seen.
bread.
That's so interesting that you haven't seen this. But
That's weird. But no,
yeah,
I do see. I think it makes sense for EO to win. Um, which is why once again I'm going for Bianca. I think
uh,
I genuinely feel, even though EO is the person that makes the most sense, and I think even I was going to say even the crowds want EO, but I think at least even globally, I think people just like Rhea too much, which
yeah,
I think says a lot about the state of wrestling fandom.
yeah,
Um, I think Bianca also winning is purely to set up Bianca and Rhea next year. Um,
yeah.
like, and I,
And
I
I get
think,
that.
and I think Bianca winning, she'll. pin Rhea. I think
Hmm.
if either of the two win, it'll be Rhea who gets pinned.
Okay.
Um, I think Rhea's won all like two or three consecutive Mania matches.
Yeah, she won
Yeah.
at 39. She won at 40. I don't
Yeah.
remember if she won at 38. I don't know. No, I don't think she was involved in a match at 38. I think that's when she
Oh, she was
debuted on the
accompanying Dom.
Judgment Day,
Yeah. Yeah, I think she came out. Was that
right?
with Edge?
Yeah, I think that's when she did join the Judgment Day.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Or maybe that
think.
was that might have been 37.
Or was it Damien that joined first? I don't remember.
I think Damien joined first, but I don't know
Um,
if Damien was at WrestleMania
I don't
because I
know.
think yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I think she's won at least two consecutive years in a row. So like it's okay for her to have a loss, and
It
also
was Damien first. I don't know what I was talking
yeah,
about. That was
and
at
also
Mania.
yeah, okay, but also I do think they like sort of have this unspoken streak with Bianca as well.
Right. It's not
So
unspoken.
oh, okay, they've mentioned it on the show.
Yeah,
I kind of tune out like the Raw commentary team in
fair.
particular, especially when Pat's there.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're right. The streak. I forgot about the streak though.
So I don't think they value it as much as like the Taker streak,
Yeah.
but I do think they might have that in their back pocket to be like, ooh, maybe it's just an extra selling point for next year.
Mm,
But
yeah. I mean, yeah, you're probably right. I'm gonna still go with EO. I'm not
I
changing my mind on it,
I
but
I also I want it to be EO. Like
well, that's
I've
why I
loved E.
said
Yeah.
I'm going with my heart because
Yeah.
I do think it's Bianca, but like just for the
Yeah.
sake of predictions and fun,
Yeah. Yeah.
again putting the energy out there that
I really don't want to do that Miz video. So
maybe Hunter will hear this, and he'll be like, oh, you know what? Actually, this guy, he's got a good idea. Um,
I just like EO a lot. And eventually when they bring up more Japanese wrestlers, he'll put them all together in their own little faction, as he always does.
yeah,
So yeah. But okay, so but also it's good we're both in agreement that I think Rhea is. Do you think Rhea's gonna eat the pin?
I do. I think if it is EO, I actually think, but the street, I think both are gonna take the pin if it's EO.
Oh, you just think she's gonna stack them?
Because like again the story makes sense for her to do it, you
Oh,
know
she's
like
gonna
this whole
Roman
thing.
Reigns them.
Yeah, but like Bianca hits the 450 and then she like
Hmm.
rolls over Rhea and then she's like
Hmm.
down and then Io just hits her
Ah.
moonsault and gets them both. That's how I
Okay.
would book it. But
Uh, okay. You know
um
what? I'll proffer up. You'll get two extra points if if she hits if she stacks them.
oh right.
If she stacks them, I'll go for two extra points
You know
there
what?
because
I'm down for that.
I'm
Plus two.
I don't. Oh God, that stacking was so funny.
Yeah. So
Oh,
sweet. Then I'll just for the sake of like wanting to be, like right, like that on point, right? I will stick with my pick of Io.
okay. Talk. I guess as we're talking about Bianca, we should go to Jade Cargill versus Naomi. Who have we got here?
I feel like maybe okay, next to the Jacob Fatu match, this might be the most obvious
Hmm.
match, which is
Yeah.
Jade. Like
Yeah.
it
I
has to be
agree.
Jade.
I honestly I can't make it a case for Naomi.
Yeah. I
She could.
really can't like I've thought about it and I'm just like other than her getting a dirty win, but that's a
Mhm.
waste of Jade's.
Yeah.
Like I know she's only had one Mania, but still like
Mhm.
why not build up a streak with her actually?
I
Um
mean, yeah, and I think Jade winning also long term makes sense because again, mid card title is perfect for Jade.
yeah.
I mean, that's why AEW had her hold the mid card title for like 2.5 years. It's perfect because
Oh yeah.
she's not the best wrestler, but God, is her presentation spectacular. She is like a goddess.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think her winning gives her that momentum going into the new season.
She is the perfect person to actually destroy Chelsea, the Green administration.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
she would just destroy Piper, destroy Alba, and then destroy Chelsea. And like people
Yeah.
would be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
No one would
Yeah.
be like, oh, come on, why didn't they get the upper hand? No, it's freaking Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
She's like built from stone pretty much, so like
Honestly, have her win here and basically tell the story going into SummerSlam is in August normally.
yeah.
So you can basically tell the story of her feuding with Chelsea up until August.
Yeah.
Because you can have her lose, like, maybe the first match is a DQ win for her.
Yeah.
Second match, she gets overwhelmed by the numbers. And then eventually she beats all three of them at once, basically.
Dude, even better, you should have Chelsea passing executive orders
Yeah.
and like they're just rule changes to matches, you know? Like she loses um whatever something happens, she like loses by submission or something and she's
Yeah.
like actually submissions weren't on in this match. Like so I still retain the title, you know?
God.
Yeah,
That's the most Triple H thing to do as well.
but it would be so funny. Like she just post match just pulls a mic, or like mid match is just like they've done that before too, where like mid
Yeah.
match they're changing the rules, but like this happens over weeks of like different steps are changed,
Yeah.
and she's just like, nope, no, I've overwritten it with my executive order. And then finally,
Yeah.
like Nick Aldis is like, screw this. It's a anything goes match. And so
Yeah.
like Chelsea's like, fine, Piper and Alba start in the ring with her,
Hmm.
and she
Yeah.
just
Oh wow.
obliterates everyone and
Yeah.
takes it.
Yeah. I think it just Jada makes the most sense long term. And also I mean, what's the point of having her be jumped in the parking lot if you're not going to have her win?
Yeah.
Like, especially, I guess, if you're gonna have a lot of heels winning, I think. In night one especially.
I just had a thought. Could we
Hmm.
see Jade beat Naomi on night one,
Hmm.
and then Naomi cost Bianca on night two? Or even
That
later in the night, but just I feel like night two makes sense.
mhm. That could be a good way of getting them out of the Bianca kind of winning the match. But I think, oh, I guess it gives. What is Bianca's technically on SmackDown, right? They're all over the place with these. Uh, the thing, isn't it?
I don't know because they were the. I actually don't know
Oh,
anymore.
Montez is on SmackDown, so I'm
Yeah,
assuming she's on SmackDown because they usually like to keep couples together.
true. But they were the
So
tag champs for a while, so that they were on both shows anyway.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
at that point I don't even remember what brand they were supposed she was supposed to
exactly.
be on.
Yeah.
Probably though, you're probably right. It was SmackDown.
Uh,
Um,
so, but I guess what I meant by that is it does give a justification for her to not be going for the title straight away because
right.
on SmackDown it's Tiffany, so
Yeah.
or Charlotte.
Or Charlotte. Yeah.
Um, so it gives them a reason to get her out, and it keeps Naomi involved because I think if after this feud they don't really have anything for Naomi, and I think Naomi's very popular as well, so you want to keep her on the card.
Right. And it just would seem silly to not actually follow up on that element of the Bianca
Yeah,
Naomi Jade story. Like we talked about it before, Bianca just walked
just
out of
was
the
like,
story.
it's not my problem. Like these are your two best friends. What do you mean it's not your problem?
Right. So I think Bianca, yeah, losing because of Naomi would be a great way to allow Io to win and keep,
Mhm.
protect Bianca's loss, and then
Yeah,
continue that storyline with her and Naomi for the next month.
yeah,
Especially
true.
if Backlash is next. It's just like, oh,
Yeah,
perfect. Backlash.
yeah. I mean, yeah, you like Backlash. You're probably just not gonna have any of the big names there. You'll have like Randy's the only big name.
Yeah. Randall
But I
Keith.
I guess talking about big names, let's go with Damian Priest versus Drew
Uh,
McIntyre. Um, so Damian Priest versus Drew. Ooh, what do you think? In a Sin City street fight, which means something for
just a
sure.
street fight, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Priest, even
Okay.
though I know McIntyre. No, he won last year actually. So
Yeah, but then he also lost to Priest, technically.
yeah, yeah, fair enough. So that would be him getting his win back if he beats him
Yeah.
here. But I think McIntyre is the perennial loser, sadly. So
Yeah.
I'm going with Priest.
Okay. I'm gonna have to get a little bit patriotic here. Yeah. British lad. I'm going with Drew McIntyre.
Fair
I
enough.
just I think I he'd lost so much over the last year.
True.
They kind of just have to be like, all right, here you go, Drew.
You'd think.
Yeah.
I get your logic though, but I just yeah, I don't see it. I don't know. I'm just feeling Damien for some reason. It's who they've been pushing more than,
True.
McIntyre, I feel. So um yeah,
Yeah. I just also he's on SmackDown now, isn't he, Drew McIntyre?
yes. Both of them
So
are.
yeah, so then neither of them are gonna be in the title scene. Like I don't see them facing
I
the winner
mean
of Cody versus John Cena. Um,
I mean, well, yeah, McIntyre definitely wouldn't because he's already faced Cody,
mhm.
and he wouldn't face Cena because he's a
Yeah.
heel. They're both heels.
Mhm.
But I could see Priest against
Oh, true.
Cena if Cena
True.
were to win. Um,
True.
but yeah,
Yeah, I think we're both in agreement. This match is kind of just like
yeah.
it's there.
I mean, it'll be fun. Two big
Yeah.
dudes clobbering each other.
Do you think they'll wear Street Fight attire? Do you think they'll wear like a
Ooh,
vest and jeans? That I think they need to.
I want that. Now I want that. I hope so.
Yeah. All I know they're doing that thing where they're basically turning the did you read this? Everyone's going to be wearing a WrestleMania 41 patch on their gear, and then the tops are going to take those patches and put them inside random tops trading cards packs to get people to buy
Sure.
them.
That's a
I
great
think that
idea.
I think they're trying to manufacture the Pokemon thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so
So maybe
pointless.
that'll preclude them from wearing jeans,
Maybe, but
which
then
is
you could put a patch on jeans
yeah,
or on the
true.
shirt itself if you're wearing like a just a
Yeah.
t-shirt. Uh,
Yeah, true.
I don't know. That'll be fun to see. I think Priest will, might. I don't know if McIntyre will.
I don't know. I think Drew looked pretty cool in like a black vest and
Oh yeah,
like a Wrangler jeans he got from his EO's clear collaboration with Wrangler.
yeah. No, he would look good with just like a black top, a black
Yeah.
tank top, and just
Yeah.
like literally stuff he's worn when he's not
Yeah,
wrestling.
exactly. Yeah.
That'll be fine. So
That'd
yeah,
be quite cool. I think we're down to our final two matches. I've not been keeping
yes.
track of the ones I've been
Finally,
saying,
it took a
actually.
while.
Let's go with, I think, the bigger of the two matches, Gunther versus
Oh,
Jey Uso.
oh, okay. I was like, we're really gonna close with Gunther J? That's a shocker. Yeah.
Honestly, I was actually thinking about it.
Oh man, this one I actually feel is yeah, is J.
I'm gonna say Jey as well, but but I don't think it's a lock anymore.
Sure.
I think maybe last week or whenever we spoke about the match, I think I thought it was going to be a lock, but I think there's a like a 20, maybe 30% chance Gunther wins just so like they could do like a CM Punk feud or whoever the other
Mm,
big babyface coming out of WrestleMania is
yeah.
because I don't know who Jay would fight at like Backlash. Like,
I mean,
because it,
apparently people are getting rematches, so I guess it could be Gunther.
yeah, it's just a bit boring.
I
It's
don't
like the
disagree. I'm just
like the
saying,
fifth match, yeah.
but
But
you
but
could
yeah,
do, huh? I mean, you could do Finn.
just
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
So
I don't know. That's a good question, actually. I don't know who would face Jay. Um, 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 actually, no, I don't know. Sammy, if he returned, he could
yeah, they have
maybe.
like an exhibition.
Yeah,
Like, you're my best friend, Sammy.
yeah,
You're my oos. Let's have a match. Yeah,
yeah.
a returning Rusev maybe.
That could be fun.
I just, you know what? If this was going on last, I would say 100% Jay because you'd closed, everyone yeeting,
Yeah,
fireworks,
sure.
main event Jey, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Now he's co-main event,
Well, what if it's opening
Jey
too?
Uso.
The same thought applies if he opens one of the nights.
Yeah, true, true. Oh, you know,
I just
opening
think
match Jey
after the
Uso
whole thing with the Jimmy
yeah, with
sequence,
Jimmy. Yeah, you can't have him lose.
yeah,
Like, it's such a defeatist, like ending to the story.
yeah, you had him lose like 3 or 4 times already, and then you have Jimmy get bloodied. Like it's kind
Yeah,
of silly to just be like, oh yeah, and he loses again.
true, true. Yeah, and I think to be honest, Gunther. I don't know about you, but I think his next feud's like gonna be Goldberg. I think he might disappear for a while because
Oh
I think
no.
Goldberg said he wants a match this year. So Gunther might disappear for a while. Goldberg will come out. Gunther will call his kid stupid, uh, and then he'll retire him.
I don't know. Let's hope not.
Oh, Goldberg was Jey Uso.
Oh God.
WrestleMania Backlash. I don't know if it's just Backlash or WrestleMania Backlash.
I don't know. But that's all I
Oh,
have to say about this match. So
yeah, yeah. I think it's very telegraphed. It's gonna be Jey. And I finally, the actual biggest match of the show, I think, at least from everyone's perspective, Cody Rhodes versus your favorite wrestler, John Felix Anthony Cena.
for the undisputed WWE Championship. Yeah. So it was so interesting for the past whatever weeks it's been since Cena turned won the chamber and
Yeah.
turned heel. I was pretty sold on the idea of him winning.
Hmm. Hmm.
It feels like that's what should happen. But then
Yeah.
literally yesterday I had a thought. I had a
Okay.
really interesting thought. If they are kind of having Cody follow in the footsteps of Cena being this, conquering hero,
Yeah.
what is it that they have done with Cena so often? They've built up a mega heel just to feed them to Cena. So
Oh,
it would be so fitting to build up the biggest heel because John Cena is the biggest babyface, make him the biggest
yeah.
heel, and then just have Cody overcome. They've done it with Cena, they've done it with Hogan, they've done it with Roman even.
Yeah.
This is bold because there's a part of me but I'm going with Cody Rhodes for my pick.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I, I, you know what? I get it, but I genuinely don't think they know how to tell that as a compelling story.
Oh, it's not supposed to be compelling. It's literally just to beat the
Just
biggest.
for the pop.
Yeah, yeah. It's literally just they'll tell it retroactively. They'll be like, oh, like the same way they've done with like Kali and Umaga and whoever
Yeah.
else, Rusev. They fed them all to Cena.
Hmm.
Ryback. They turned Ryback heel to feed him to Cena.
Yeah.
That was when it clicked in my brain. I was like, oh shoot, what if they're just doing that for Cody?
I just feel like it it just it just doesn't make sense. And I get it, that's why. But like I don't even know if The Rock's gonna be there as well.
I didn't even think about The Rock. Oh my
I'm
God.
pretty sure reports are he's not.
Yeah,
I think he's
I've heard
filming,
reports too.
but also he's The Rock. He could probably like wrap up filming, get on a helicopter and be in Las Vegas.
Yeah, yeah. But also, it would be so stupid if Cena won because of The Rock. It'd be so stupid. Um,
Yeah, I-
to be clear, it everything makes sense to have Cena win.
but that's the point. That's why it's
Yeah,
like,
and I just this thought entered my brain, and I just can't let it go. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna go with it. And the thing is, if I'm right and I win because of this, I'll just be like, look, I don't have to be positive about Cena, and he lost his match. Like it'll be perfect, just like cherry on top.
true. I just, but to be honest, this is such an awkward situation
Yes,
because if he wins, it's like, okay, cool. Now what? Like, you've got him for 8 months. What are you gonna tell with the story? And if you lose, it's also like, what was the point?
I agree.
And especially to have most of his heel run being in Europe.
Yeah.
And I think they did that because he was filming in Europe. I think he was
Mm,
shooting a movie in Europe, so they were like, okay, we are doing the Road to WrestleMania in Europe this year.
jeez,
Which,
that's
I mean,
awful.
yeah, it was cool seeing the European crowds, but also they get a
Sure.
bit annoying.
Thank you.
Um,
I agree. And no, but it's like I've seen people who are like, oh well, like at least they make noise. I'm like, yeah, but sometimes they just don't shut up.
yeah,
Like,
you need to find a good middle ground. Go to Puerto Rico again.
yeah, yeah, just like, and to be fair, like Puerto Rico didn't have promos, so we don't know how they would be with like
True,
promos. But
true.
like, I cannot stand when every 3 seconds they start a chant in the middle of a promo.
Yeah.
I'm just like, it's fun for the first 2 or 3 times, and then after a while, I'm
Mm,
like, bro, I know his name's Cody Rhodes. You don't need to tell me
yeah.
this.
And also, like, it's very boring chants. Like,
Yeah,
if it was NXT UK chants,
yeah,
saying someone looks like Jesus, that's hilarious.
right.
Um, but
Or
yeah,
even the one in France for AJ
AJ,
Styles. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
they're
fun at
phenomenal.
least.
Yeah,
But like, I don't even know the tune for the Cody Rhodes one.
Cody, Cody Rhodes, and it's just that for everyone, apart
Yeah,
from Bailey, where they do Hey Ya Bailey.
yeah. And so
Um,
I get tired of it.
yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna stick with John just because I don't trust them to be able to tell a story that isn't the most obvious story. I will welcome Cody winning just because I think it'll be hilarious to see them try and figure out like the story and then see people who are big WWE fans try and like justify it, being like, this was the whole time. They telegraphed it the whole time. It's like, no, they didn't. They did the
Yeah,
exact opposite of that.
yeah.
Um,
Well, that's the thing is, to me, it makes even more sense with how uh like not wishy-washy, how haphazardly this heel turn and everything about it took place. Where I'm like, yeah, they just wanted to turn him heel because it's a big moment, and now they're
yeah.
feeding him to Cody. Like it's just the more I think about it, the more I'm like, you know what, that makes complete sense, right? Because honestly, I was talking about this with a friend, and the match should have been Cody Punk. It really was the match. Um,
They were building that as well, weren't they?
yeah,
Punk was like
yeah.
dropping seeds, like, oh, Cody.
Unless you were gonna do face Cena versus face Cody, that's the match actually because
I
it's
agree.
literally a passing of the torch moment. But and this still is if Cody wins, but
Yeah.
it's like you didn't need to turn Cena heel just for I will die on this hill. They turned him heel just for the shock factor. They
Yeah,
did
a
not.
hundred. They tend because to be honest, going into the what he Elimination Chamber, wasn't it?
Yeah,
They were kind of a dry pay-per-view as well. Like there wasn't really anything to really like sink your teeth into, and so
no,
they were
good
like
matches, but
other than The Rock trying to like steal Cody's soul through some sort of
right. That
ritual or
was the selling
something.
point, which was
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I don't. It should have been a face John Cena versus a face Cody. You do the whole thing with Cena at the end of his first loss to The Rock, sitting there depressed, not knowing what to do going forward, and then eventually he gets that win at his last pay-per-view, and then he relinquishes the title.
yeah. That would have been fine. I mean, he could even win it at SummerSlam, honestly, and hold it for
Yeah,
a little bit. Then you can have a match with him and Cody again, him and Punk, you know,
Yeah.
and maybe I, I I have this crazy theory. I know it's not true, but it's like
Hmm.
he told us that he's only in for this last year,
Yeah.
but what if he wasn't? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like what
I
if, especially if we did like what you just said, so he wins at SummerSlam, and as you get closer to his end time,
yeah.
he starts getting frustrated because people are like, well, they want him to lose the title because they don't want him to
Yeah.
retire with the title. And so
Yeah.
then he actually does turn heel on the night that he's supposed to be his final match. And he's
He does
like,
a Mark
psych, I'm
Henry.
actually here. I'm here for forever now, you know?
Yeah. And then you do like him being like, yeah, at WrestleMania, if you lose, you have to retire John. And then, I don't know, Braun Breaker retires him.
Oh God. The worst
Yeah.
option you could choose. But yeah, no, Cena is the sensible choice though. But I
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
get this thought out of my head that, this is what
I like your idea. I can't wrap my head around them not putting it on Cena,
yeah.
especially because of the Rock factor and the
Yeah.
Trevor Scott factor.
Yeah, I mean, but this is yeah. Everything you said makes so much sense, and now I'm like, maybe, but I'm sticking with my Cody theory. I'm going with Cody
Yeah.
as my pick. So we have a good amount of split
Yeah, actually.
views. Yeah, so this should be really interesting.
But thank you guys for watching.
Let
You
us know
guys
your
should, yeah, comment your predictions down below in the comment section. Where can the people find you?
yes. You can find me at Nav the Poet, NAV the Poet, and TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, pretty much everything.
And you can find me basically everywhere at Kayfabe Crimes. That's crimes with a K. And you can follow the podcast at the Big Pop or Big Pop Pod on Instagram, TikTok, uh, probably Facebook. I don't know how Meta uses our data. I'll probably do something with it. Yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Make sure you follow us. Again, leave those comments down below. Make sure you channel your energy towards me because I don't want to be cutting a pro Miz promo
Yeah,
come next week. And yeah, we will see you next week where we'll probably discuss the fallout from WrestleMania and WrestleMania post Raw.
yeah.
Yeah.
Enjoy the show.
Yeah, enjoy the show. Get your snacks in. If you're in the UK, get those energy drinks because it's going to be a long weekend.
Take care.
Bye, guys.